Hi guys, Mr. Hescox coming here today to start your career in life science this year. We are going to start our beginning principles of life science and look at some of the things that scientists do every day. But your opening question is, what do you think of when you hear the word science? So when we think scientific skills, you got to think scientists. So I threw some pictures up here. You've got the cast from The Big Bang Theory and all their sciencey stuff, which is one of my favorite shows. It was canceled, by the way. Here you got a scientist. Here you got a scientist video that we're going to watch later. I'm going to pause this video now, and you guys think about things that make you a scientist. All right, so you should have had some time to think. Things that make you a scientist aren't always white lab coats, aren't always fancy labs or chemicals or experiments. Be a scientist, you need to search for the answers to questions of life. Why do plants grow? How hot is the sun? Why do cars move faster than trucks? Why do some trucks move faster than cars? What kinds of things can we research in science? And these are all questions that we want to look at. If you're a scientist, it has nothing to do with your race, whether you're male or female. None of that matters. It has to do with how you think and how you search for answers. When we go through these videos, make sure you're clicking on them at home and watching the videos. I can't replay somebody else's video, but as these videos come up, you need to go back and watch the videos. They always talk about something we are learning. Science skills that we're going to use. Now, there's a big list of them in your book. I've kind of picked out the most important ones that I think are there. First skill is observing. Observing is watching and listening very, very closely. I have a nieces and nephews who are still kind of little, and they watch everything that you do, watching to see what you do and how you do it. That's being observant, which is in a process of learning to be observing. Then we have measuring. Measuring is very important. We'll do some measuring in class. Measuring makes your data and your observations in science more accurate. What if I said that horse is big? Well, how big is big? But if I said that horse is 2 meters tall, then we know exactly how tall that big is. And unlike, if you want to make sure that in science, when we're measuring, we want to use the metric system to our best of our ability, because the metric system is generally the best for scientific measuring. That metric system is used all around the world, which actually makes it easier if we were in any other country. Inferring means to form a conclusion based on facts. I've got a bunch of information here, and I can tell that based on this, I know that certain things are happening. This summer it has been very, very warm, very, very dry. There's no proof of global warming, but I can infer that the Earth is getting warmer. Case in point, we didn't have any snow last year. That's a great indication that global warming may be happening. Classifying, grouping things by similarity. This is like my kids have a sock drawer, they have a t-shirt drawer, they have certain places they keep their different sports equipment. By grouping things by similarity, you make it easier to study in each subject within science. You probably have a silverware drawer, where all the forks and the knives are separated. It just makes things easier. Organizing goes very well with that. This is placing things in order. It could be in chronological order as how they happened in time. It could be by size. It could be by a lot of things. We will do a lot of research in this class. So researching is very, very important to a scientist, because scientists need to be experts or need to know as much as they possibly can about what topics they're studying before they run their experiment. Put it this way. I have a really good guy who works on my truck for me. I would not go to that really good mechanic if my heart wasn't working correctly. I'm going to a cardiologist who specializes in hearts. If I need my oil changed, if I need anything done to my truck, the mechanic's the way to go. Communicating. There will be plenty of writing, whether it's a couple sentences to all the way up to a paragraph. Sometimes we'll make presentations of what we've done. But scientists must be good communicators. What if you, as a scientist, discover a drug that might save the world, but your paper is so poorly written, other scientists don't believe it? So English skills, language skills are very important in communicating in science class. Number 8 and number 9 go very, very closely together. Predicting is to state what will happen. That's like the guy on the weather at TV. We believe it will rain tomorrow. Hypothesis is we make that prediction based on the ideas. It's like a suggested idea or suggested solution to a problem. How can I make my tomatoes grow faster? How can I make my yard greener? How can I make my fire pit last longer? I know I had one that that melted after a while. We got it too hot. Modeling. We'll build models of things. Models are often used to indicate things that are more complex. I love models because they allow it to be more hands-on. Now, in years where we're allowed to do more group stuff, things will be different. But right now, we'll have to do a lot of online modeling. There's some really, really good online models of cells and frog dissections and things. So we'll get into all kinds of good stuff before the year is over. And finally, analyzing and studying information. I will teach you guys how to make graphs with your data from experiments on your iPads or on the Chromebooks. Being able to take data, chart the trends, and then make predictions from it is very, very important to scientists. We are going to stick with using data to back up our statements. We don't just say, well, I read it on Facebook, so it must be true. So here's a bunch of skills, and we're going to look at them, and then you tell me which of these skills is being shown. So for number 1, there's a lady, and she is looking through a microscope. So this one is observing. Here we have data in number 2 being tracked on a graph, so that one's analyze. There we have books, that has to be researching. We have a student writing a paper, that is communicating. I'm sorry if my handwriting on the screen is not very good. This is a graduated cylinder and they're measuring a volume, so this is measuring. And last but not least, this is observing or organizing, excuse me.